Hey guys, this is Evan from EzOrigami, and today I'll be teaching you how to fold an Origami Stella Repetita Iuvant designed by Andrey Hechuev. This model requires 8 square sheets of paper. Each unit is folded from 1 square, and I recommend using 3-inch squares to fold the units. Using 3-inch squares will result in a star that is 5 inches wide. And I'm going to be using paper with color on one side and white on the other just to make it a bit easier to follow along, but I recommend trying out different color combinations for some really interesting results. And once you've prepared your paper, then we're going to start with our first square with the white side up. And then we're going to fold in half diagonally. So take this bottom right corner and fold it up to the top left corner. Align the corners and the edges. Then make your crease. And then unfold. Then we're going to rotate the paper so that the crease we just made is now held vertically. And now we're going to fold over this bottom right edge and align it with the vertical crease that we just made. So we're going to start by lifting up the edge and pulling it over towards the center of the model. Then we want to start at the bottom of the paper and work our way up until the entire colored edge is aligned with that vertical crease. Once it's completely aligned, then you can make your crease. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left. So once again, we want to lift up this bottom left edge and pull it over towards the center of the model. Then starting at the bottom and working your way up, you want to align the entire colored edge with that vertical crease. Once everything is aligned, then you can make your crease. And now you've created a kite base. And then we're going to turn the model over from top to bottom. And now we're going to do something similar on this side. So once again, we're going to start by lifting up this bottom right edge and aligning it with this vertical crease. So we're going to do that by pulling the edge over towards the center of the model. And again, we want to start at the bottom and work our way up until the entire white edge is aligned with that vertical crease. Once everything is aligned, then you can make your crease. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left. So once again, we're going to lift up the bottom left edge and pull it towards the center of the paper. And once the white edge is completely aligned with that vertical crease, then you can make your crease. And then you can unfold the flap on the left that we just folded in. And then we're going to turn the paper over. And now we're going to make a crease that extends from this point here, where the white and colored layers intersect with this left edge. And we're going to do that by lifting up the bottom right portion of the model and pulling it over to the left. And as you're doing this, you'll notice that there's a small white edge underneath, and we want our new crease to run along that edge. And at the same time, we want to make sure that the corner on the top layer here aligns with the colored edge underneath. So once those 2 points are aligned and your crease is lined up with the white edge underneath, then you can make your crease. And now we want to untuck this colored layer of paper on the right. So we carefully want to pull that layer of paper out from inside, and we want to pull it to the right as far as it goes. Just like this, but we don't want to flatten out the paper. Instead, you'll notice this crease which runs horizontally across the model, and we simply want to make that crease a valley fold. So we're just going to reverse the direction of that crease by folding the paper down along it. But as you can see, the model still doesn't lie flat. So what we need to do is push these layers on the right over to the left and simply flatten out the model along existing creases. And now we're going to reverse fold along existing creases. And I like to do that by slightly separating these 2 layers of paper, and then pushing down on the layers from the top, just like this, until both creases reverse direction. Then you can flatten everything out along existing creases. And now I want you to notice this white flap in the center of the model. And what we want to do is fold up its bottom edge and align it with this colored vertical edge here. So we're just going to lift up the corner of that flap and fold it over to the right. And once both colored edges are aligned, then you can make your crease. And then unfold. And this small crease is eventually going to be a mountain fold. So I suggest folding it underneath and then unfolding it just to reverse its direction. And once you have this, then you can turn the model over. And this is 1 completed unit. Now you must fold 7 more. Once you've folded all 8 units, you're going to need 2 to start the assembly. Then, look at one, and you'll notice that it has a flap like this on the front, and it also has a pocket underneath this colored layer here. So once again, we're going to take our second unit, and we want to insert the second unit's flap inside of the first unit's pocket. And we're going to do that by lifting up both units, then we want to slightly rotate the first unit. Then from here we want to bring the units together, again making sure that the second unit's flap goes inside of the first unit's pocket. So just push both units together like this, and you want to push them together until they're completely aligned. So basically you want to make sure that these colored triangles come to a point at the center of the model here, and you also want to make sure that this colored edge on the first unit aligns with this white edge on the second unit. And once both units are aligned, then you can turn the model over. And if you slightly lift up this colored flap on the first unit, you'll notice that there's a white layer of paper underneath. And we simply want to grab that white layer and pull it out on top. So we just want to lay it down flat on top of the first unit. Then you'll notice this small diagonal crease, which we're going to use to tuck this white layer of paper underneath the colored layer on the first unit. So we can simply tuck that white layer of paper underneath, just like this, by reinforcing an existing crease. And now you've locked both of the units together. Then you can turn the model over. And from here we're going to take our third unit, and we want to insert the third unit's flap inside of the second unit's pocket. And we're going to do that by lifting up all three units, and then we want to slightly rotate the units on the right. Then from here we want to bring the second and third units together by again making sure that the third unit's flap goes inside of the second unit's pocket, just like we did before. So again, you want to make sure that these triangles align in the center of the model, and you want to make sure that this colored edge on the second unit aligns with this white edge on the third unit. Once all three units are aligned, then you can turn the model over. And again, we want to start by pulling this white layer of paper out from underneath the second unit, just like this, and we want to lay it down on top. And you'll notice this small diagonal crease, which we're going to use to tuck this white layer of paper underneath this colored layer from the second unit. So we're just going to tuck that small white flap underneath by mountain folding along an existing crease, and that'll lock the second and third units together. And once you have this, then we can turn the model back over. And then we're going to add a fourth unit the same way. So again, start by rotating the other three units, and then we want to bring the third and fourth units together by again making sure that the fourth unit's flap goes inside of the third unit's pocket, just like we've been doing. You want to push both units together until they're completely aligned, and then you can turn the model over. Then we want to pull the white layer of paper out from underneath the third unit and lay it down on top. Then we can mount and fold the small flap behind to lock the third and fourth units together. And once you have that, then you can turn the model over. And we're going to add the remaining four units the same way. And as you continue adding units, you'll start to see that they'll overlap with the first ones. So what I like to do is keep these white triangles on top and assemble any new units underneath them like this. So just keep that in mind going forward. And as you're adding the last unit, you want to make sure that you insert the first unit's flap inside of the last unit's pocket, just like we've been doing. So just bring those two units together like this, then adjust the rest of the units to make sure everything is aligned. Then you can turn the model over. Then you can tuck this white flap from the first unit inside the colored pocket of the last unit. So just mount and fold that small triangle behind. And then we need to connect the 7th and 8th units the same way. So you just want to pull the white flap out from underneath the 7th unit and lay it down on top. And again, mount and fold the small white flap inside. Then you can flatten everything out and turn the model over. And your origami star is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial on how to fold an Origami Stella Repetita Iuvant designed by Andrey Hechuev. Feel free to upload photos of your completed star to the YouTube gallery on my website to be featured here in my next video, or simply upload your photos to Instagram with the hashtag EzOrigami to be featured here as well. Also, be sure to check out Andrey's Flickr and Instagram for more of his impressive work. I'll post the links in the video description below. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. And of course, subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell for more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.